All right, welcome everybody once again to our not sure what we're going to call this, a spotlight on business, perhaps local business superstars, movers and shakers, industry disruptors, and so on. And today, I'm thrilled to have in studio the Lumar Electric crew. You've seen the trucks all over town, all over the province, now all over Prince Edward Island. I'm here today with the two co-founders, the Lu part of Lumar, Luc and the Mar part of Lumar, Mario Leblanc. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
to be here.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for having us.
yeah, when I address you, you're on camera, by the way.
Oh, we're recording right now
Yeah,
live.
we're,
All right.
we're recording.
Okay.
We're live.
All right.
And in addition to having Luc and Mario in studio, by the way, we're supposed to do this in English, or was it
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure all of a sudden,
Check.
because we usually between us when cameras aren't rolling, as people know, we speak Mandarin to each other. And also on the show, very excited, business development manager with Lumar.
Business developer, yeah.
Business developer. Okay. Sorry for adding the manager part. I gave you too much credit. And I'm sort of going to hand over the reins to him for the questions and so on. This is we're going to end up with content. It's going to go all over the Lumar social media platforms. In fact, if you're seeing this, you're following. So, Laurent Léger.
Hi, thank you.
Hey, buddy, you've been with Lumar for
Just about a year now.
just about a year. All right, I'll let you take over. I'll chime in whenever.
Chime
And,
in. Yes, please. I'm very nervous.
Yeah.
You don't look nervous.
No, okay, good.
You look good.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You've done this before.
Keep it going.
It's
Keep the
fun.
No, you got
compliments-
it.
Keep the compliments
The
flowing.
idea of doing a podcast or long form content or so on is fun, and then once we sit down in this very very small hot room, it gets
very nerve wracking.
yeah. It
Can you
is.
turn the AC on?
Yes.
I wish, but the building owner is too cheap.
We all know him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess me and Julien know you guys already very well. But how do you guys know each other? Where do you guys?
We just met.
You guys
actually.
just met.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nice to meet
You
you.
met in
nice to meet you.
college. No, but honestly, how do you guys know each other?
Well, for those who don't know, we're actually cousins. So our mothers are sisters. So we grew up together. So from before we even knew we existed, I think we knew each other. So
Close growing up. You guys hung out, on right and stuff.
Yeah, closer after 10, 11 years of age, I'd say.
For sure,
And
yeah.
developed being best of friends.
absolutely. Yeah.
Snowboarders.
Never really thinking of getting together and starting up a business like this, but
Yeah.
here we are.
And you guys both started in electric, like you went to the electric trade each on your own, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, Luke was in the trade before I was. He's a couple of years older than me.
You can
So
tell.
it's kind of in his family, right? His father's in the trade, so I always looked up to Luke and his father. And when I kind of learned a bit more about the trade, I kind of fell interested in the trade and whatever. Started working with Luke on that part. But yeah, we both took our electrical courses. That's kind of how we started. That's how we started working together, and then there's a long story after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mario said, I was in the trade a couple years before he got into it. And once I started overseeing kind of my own projects for the company I was with at the time, Mario would call me on Friday afternoons, find out where I was. And he was still in high school, but he would come tag along and just give me a hand with whatever the task of the day was. And so definitely demonstrated
It's crazy.
interest in it.
I
So,
didn't even know that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
right,
sure.
in high school, you were already
Well, so
helping it?
after my second semester in high school, I only had 2 credits. I only needed 2 credits to graduate, so I took them in the morning. So I had my afternoons free. So
Cool.
yeah, I'd call Luke and say like, "Where you at? I kind of want to just help out, see what it's all about," and join him on sites. And
And did you both do like the college route? Did you do like
well, Well, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go like take the 1 year
Yeah.
course, right? So and that gives you your block one. We say there's
Yeah.
4 blocks for electrical. Or what we did, we just started working in the trade, and your hours count against.
That's
If you can find a company that'll hire you without your 1 year certification, it's what's called getting indentured right off the bat, off the street, essentially, with no experience. And that's how we both got in.
got into it.
Like Mario said, my father has a strong background in
In
electrical. He's an
yeah.
electrician, so he was able to provide some opportunities for both of us to get indentured and start right hands-on.
That's nuts. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was that you were still in high school.
Yeah, and back then it was super hard to get in. So Luke's dad, Paul, he helped us. He helped me for sure get into the trade, and
Same
I was
here.
lucky to get a job without any experience. Right, I tried to get a bit with Luke, just helping out,
To
but
get experience.
still, it was hard to get in. So definitely helped out to.
And how long after that you guys started working together, side jobs, did Lumar happen, would you say?
Well, before we were both licensed when Lumar started, obviously. So it was 4 or 5 years after we started working, but we worked together, and then we moved out west for a year and a half.
That's right.
Right.
Kenmore.
So I moved a bit earlier than Luke. I came back, and then he joined for 8 months
7
or whatever.
months, yeah.
So, but then we were working in the electrical field down there. So the company I was working for, Luke joined that team out there from Calgary. So we worked together down there, but then we moved back, and then still kind of did our apprenticeship down here.
Yeah, and we both ran our own independent contracting companies, I guess, and we sort of collabed on projects at hand at the time before ultimately deciding to partner up and put all our eggs in one basket. So
you were kind of a one-man band each before joining forces.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Luke was working on his own. I was writing my license. I was still working for another company, and then yeah.
So this is like so Lumar officially started 2011.
April 2011 was our
Yep,
first
exactly.
registered invoice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you guys have a logo? And this was all like the name, obviously. How did you come up with the name, by the way?
All the credit to Mario for that, matter of fact. And I had been doing my own thing for a couple of years, and I was working closely with my dad at the time. But my dad and I had kind of separated his company into 2 separate lanes. And I had been at it for close to 2 years, probably. But like I said, collabing with Mario, and he had incorporated his own company around that time too. And I'll never forget it. It's when we were at Mario's house, and he walks in his living room one afternoon, and he says, "I think we should team up, and we're going to be Lumar Electric."
Very nice.
And for
Not
me
Marlou.
personally, yeah, as soon as I heard that name, I said that can be plastered everywhere, and we can build something off of that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still remember your first logo is like you bringing him in, and yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly what we did. We literally put that logo
Yeah.
on every piece of equipment, side street.
Any job someone would
It
give
was-
us.
That was,
And then you guys started there, and so how long since you guys started there? Then I know you guys were at the self storage for a bit. You had an office there. Did you start without an office, just
no, yes,
out of
but no.
working out of your truck, basically?
We actually, Luke had a house in Dieppe there, and we kind of
That was
built
the
a little office in his attached garage there. Yeah, Bro Street. I remember that. Yeah,
And
That
it was really humble beginnings, but we still called it the shop because we were both so excited to say meet me at the shop, but that
That
it
was your
sounded
house.
cool. Yeah,
that
meet me at the shop.
meant my 15 by 20 garage on
Yeah. Oh, we had desks in there and the materials. It was
Plant
Wow.
it was awesome. Yeah, plant
So was
It
it-
was well
tables
set up. for
Was it
what
just
was
you and him at this point?
We were in the infancy of our first staff. I want to say we maybe were 3 or 4 plus Mario.
Yeah,
and I
pretty
at
much
that
from
time.
day one, we hired our first employee pretty quickly.
Mhm.
So we didn't really stay at Lumar. Like before Lumar, we were just me and Luke. Well, you might know you had an employee with
Already,
What's
right
up?
from the get go.
So, but actually, didn't you bring him over to Lumar?
Yeah.
Yeah,
once-
exactly.
once
Yeah.
we,
That's why I
once
would.
we joined. Mhm.
Yeah. So
Is he still with us? Probably not. Was it Ben Beaulieu?
It's not Ben. No. No.
I'm kidding.
But Ben was early on enough,
He
though.
was,
No,
yeah.
but one individual, he's now essentially changed careers. He's a lineman. He had a family background in supply authority distribution, so he's a high voltage lineman right now. And but I'm sure there's if we sat there and really broke it down, there are some early day individuals that are still on board with us today.
Well, we just celebrated how many guys at the shop?
Yeah, there
five,
was
five
what,
guys
like
over 10 years.
8 guys, 10-year plus.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but there are some guys they're year 1 or 2 they were with us and they're still with us now. So.
What would you say in the early stages? So you got 1, 2 employees or whatnot. What are the biggest challenges as business owners?
I think the challenges kind of evolve with the business, right? The initial challenges become different now than they were back then. But
Is it calling people? Is it cold calling? Like, how do you guys get business at that point?
early stages,
Yeah.
Definitely
was-
knocking on doors.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. 100%.
We would sit there over coffee, Mario and I think, and brainstorm and what contacts Mario potentially had, and he took that trail and it really just boots on the ground cold call, and I did the same on my end. And we'd kind of compare notes at the end of the day or by call and say, hey, I think I just got an opportunity for this developer or whatever the case may be, clientele wise.
Is it a highly competitive market? Meaning, like when you start a new company in the field, is it the general vibe across the board? Oh, here's another shark in the tank, or is it relatively a supportive community or so on? Like, did you feel some resistance from competitors and so on when you start from scratch like that in such a big? Because it's a big business, and it's not like you're just starting opening up a corner store. No disrespect, but there's just so many moving parts and so on. So that's also intimidating because you have this huge overhead and this huge these big ambitions and goals. So what's the industry reaction when you guys start like that and start knocking on doors?
Well, not necessarily welcomed with open arms. And,
Yeah. To put it lightly, yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
We're happy to see you.
Here's a job for you. No.
But I think the criterias, I guess, or the components of competition would vary from tier to tier, I think, depending on the scale of project or scale of developer that you're entertaining. I think the nature of competition and the mindset toward it changes from high profile development projects or trouble call, service call, or smaller scale developers, which we certainly started at the bottom of the ladder, if you will, but that was from our perspective, that was a tall ladder, and it was a big undertaking. So it was, you can't take any clientele for granted whatsoever, and we're really humble about every opportunity we were fortunate enough to be afforded along the way. That being said, our storyline does kind of increase over time, and the significance of size of developments that we're involved in now versus at the start, you can definitely see different tiers of what the competition's like at different levels.
How do you set yourself apart though when you're a new player in the game and you start, like you said, start knocking on doors? How do you, if you don't have a proven track record, how do you secure those contracts?
Well,
Enthusiasm's a big one, I think.
Yeah, I think, it's been an ongoing battle since day one, and the big thing we were trying to punch through was the how do you say that, the confidence in the clients to hire out, like
Why would they hire you?
yeah,
Well, the
like
sales
can you
pitch, right? Like
can you handle this project? Is it too big for you, right? So we were always ambitious to do these large projects, but honestly, before we started Lumar, we never did an apartment building. myself for sure. I
maybe
think we never
likewise.
led an apartment building before, and we were just pricing them and attacking them. So
Ambition.
getting that.
And when you land that first apartment building, do you kind of freak out? Are you
I was
like,
just gonna say, do you
uh,
remember
like
the first big one?
what do we do? What are we
Yeah.
doing? How do we do this?
Up to this day, we just landed a big one today, and it's like
Yeah.
a little bit freaking out.
Can we do this?
For sure.
So yes, 100%. But that's also the fuel that kind of compels you to step up to the game of what you claimed you could absorb and digest. And I think we've always felt confident in our abilities in the trade, and you'll never materialize beyond a thought unless you're awarded real world projects. And even though the total consideration of a job can be daunting, it happens over time, right? So there are certain sequences of steps that you got to take, and one foot in front of the other. And as long as you plan for it before it's necessary, then there's a storyline that you can follow, right? So we kind of navigated like that. from
Well,
the
it's
get-go.
that saying of like they're your car headlights. Like you don't see the destination, but you're
500
ahead.
feet at a time.
and you have faith. You're not gonna run into a wall. If
I think we just knew where we wanted to go, and we knew taking these jobs, even if we didn't really know exactly how to do them, was the path to take us where we wanted to go. So
Ba-
we just
baptism
kept
by
on
fire.
taking these jobs and, faking it till we made it, but we learned through the way, and, it's just, we were just super
Do you remember that
ambitious.
first big job where you guys were like, oh,
Absolutely.
Can you believe you do?
Yeah.
I wonder if you're gonna say the same-
223 units,
yeah.
and we were I don't know if I should say this, but whatever. They gave us the price and said, "This is the price. Do the job for this." We're like, "Sure, right?" Not fuck. We
But you learn, right?
never.
From the,
Yeah. So, but
It's not a
it was-
long-term recipe for success. for
No.
sure. It's not. But there's a certain element of being naive a little bit, but luckily not to our detriment, right? Because tenacity and persistence was something that followed us along, or
Yeah.
we
Big time.
implemented
Still to this day.
and kind of still do to this day, but with a lot more resources and precedence and experience now. So
But you're right. Being naive does help when you start because you're not affected by all the kind of unwritten rules that you don't know, or the cynical perspectives, or the this guy does that. It's the same thing for comedy. It's like at first when you start, you're like, oh my god. No subject is off the table, and you just try to find whatever's funny and whatever. Then, as you progress, like, oh, this has been done a million times. This is considered hacky or whatever. But
get jaded.
it's
But
yeah,
there's a certain like you can tell when someone is just kind of blindly ambitious about it. Like you sort of pardon a little bit of that inexperience, right? Because it's so over covered by enthusiasm and kind of just charismatic involvement, right?
which
Where-
is highly contagious. I mean, sales is the transfer of enthusiasm. So when you show up and as a new player on the
I remember like just when we were bidding these jobs, I don't think any other electrical contractor attacked a bid or a proposal like we did to make sure we got the job, right? Like the follow-ups and everything else. Like it was more like they just sent their bid and they expected the call, and then oh shit, Lumar got the job. Why? Like, right? Because we were there, we were called, like we were so ambitious to get that apartment and there was not 20 apartment buildings like today, right? There was maybe 2 on the market at the time.
Yeah.
So you needed that one if you wanted to grow the business, or else you're stuck doing houses or service calls, right?
At that point, you have we're like, oh, we have to hire people now. Or are you guys set already? You have the employees at the shop, or no?
It kind of goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. The first 10 are a little bit more difficult, but then there's a little bit of a sort of exponential ability after you get to the 15-20 mark, where project timelines, startup, wrap-ups, they kind of make you more fluid to be able to
Copy
be
and paste
flexible
type
with
of-
schedules, etc., right? To go from 0 to 100 right off the hop is easier said than done. But once you're at cruise control 80, then to go to 120, right? You have resources to at your disposal, lack of better terms.
Yeah.
Do you ever have early on where you get these big opportunities, or you're in contention for these big opportunities? Is that the right word? In contention?
Don't look at me.
When it's down to 2 or 3 companies, and then you start daydreaming of like, oh my God, what's gonna happen if we get this, and then you don't get it. Did you guys get any of those early on where it was like so close and you're kind of in the running, and then because you're a new
Absolutely.
player on the game or whatever, you don't get it?
For sure, it happened throughout the whole. Since
happens
we started,
to
right?
this day.
It happens
Yeah.
to
It
this
happens
day.
to
You're
this
you're
day.
confident you have the job. You're kind of starting to plan for it. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's a shift, or there's somebody right? There's so.
But
there's
as you,
already
as you move along, those situations become easier to handle because you know there's more down the pike. But when you're new, you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
so
well, you
flat
think
on
that's
your
your last
sleeve.
job. You think that's the only
done.
one.
We're shutting the
But
doors.
the best thing that's ever happened to us is not getting a certain project and then being able to effectively attack the next ones that came in through the door, and they were much better projects.
yeah.
So saying no, we kind of learn now. It's like saying no to a shitty opportunity is the best thing you can do in business, because there are going to be another one.
A busy market helps too, right? Like we've
Yeah.
been in some circumstances where you sort of have a pulse of what the market volume is and what projects are on the table and what's coming up and what's available right now. So sometimes out of 4 active significant projects, right, if you're in the running for one, that's 25% of attractive projects at the time. So when your hat it gets pulled out of that ring, then it's a little more
Yeah.
deflating. But right now, past 2-3 years, it's a fairly steady market, and things are happening. So it's easier pill to swallow last 3, 4, 5 years, because the development market is so hot right now. So it's easier to do when you project that more tenders and invites and your prep developers are active and everything's rolling, right?
What happens when the development market isn't doing as well, like, and you have so many employees and so on? How do you just have faith that there's just something else is going to come up that you can provide for all of your employees and their families? Like the pressure of being the owners of a company that is dictated by the market. So what happens when there is a downswing and you don't feel as the abundance that's just all around you from all these jobs that are available?
Well, usually there's always one, there's like the residential market, there's the commercial market, apartment building market, right? So when one's down, usually the other one is a slightly more, up. So
Right.
that's why we have all these different departments, if you will, like service and maintenance. And then we have residential and commercial multi-unit department. So, we shuffled guys from departments to departments to keep them busy, which also helps in the just year over year in the winter / summer when residential drops. We can put them on commercial projects, right? So that's why we've always kept all these departments open. But naturally, you kind of just, if there's a downtime,
You get creative. There's
Yeah,
some
for sure,
there's
yeah.
some rainy day tasks and things like that, right? You can look at it as like company wise, it's for sure it's an investment, right? To not be
Lay them off.
tasking key staff with billable hours, so to say, right? But there's a lot of work that can be done on the operation, on the business, so on and so forth. Take an A+ foreman and go send him on a site to sort of shadow a foreman and lend his advice, etc., or lead hands. Sometimes you're forced to just overstaff a project that wouldn't be necessary, but there's a
Right.
silver lining in that too, where you can get creative and try to look at it from a perspective where the company or the crew is gonna get something out of it, and hopefully you don't have to do that for too long. There's a breaking point to that for sure, where God forbid tough decisions need to be made, but luckily in our decade and a half or so, we've never really had to cross that bridge.
We also traveled too, right, to different places to like open up the
Further
the
away,
territory. So Bathurst.
It also
and
goes a
Truro,
long
Nova
way for the
Scotia, and-
employees. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's good.
When you do overstaff a job site or so on, if there's any recognition for in that from the staff, that helps with company morale, with the culture, with turnover. People recognize that stuff if they have any sort of awareness when it comes to that. But I think you kind
Yeah,
of
the guys know. The key staff that have been around the block with us know when we're getting creative with the times at hand to keep the reoccurring payroll going, so on and so forth. And it's a two-sided coin too, right? Because and right now, luckily more than ever, there's no one on the roster that we could do with or without. It's a really well-built team and crew, and the culture is A+. So we'll go the extra mile as much as possible to maybe appoint someone to something that in a really busy condition wouldn't be the case. But there's a way of doing that, and for the individual and the company as a whole to derive something positive from it. And the guys that have been around the block know when that's the case.
right. And if you want to get a perspective or peek into the portal of the culture at Lumar, we did the first annual Lumar golf event this summer, and we did a little vlog that I hosted with a camera crew and went around the golf course and interviewed all of the staff and so on. And so check out all of their social medias on Instagram, Lumar Electric, and on Facebook and so on. YouTube, all of the good stuff. And it's been a lot of fun. Guys, any last words?
Thanks, Julien.
Thanks, Julien. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This was fun. Let's do it
Great
again.
studio, great setup, and yeah, this was fun. We'll do it again someday.
100%.
It's not too bad, huh? Like, we
bad.
did it.
A+.
Went
Just
by
need an
quick.
AC machine and we're good.
The way you said someday was like 2029. Like, yeah, we'll do it again someday. Like, let me check my
call you
calendar.
someday.
All right, this has been another Spotlight on Business. My name is Julien Dionne from Lemon Press Studios, the heart of Dieppe, and we'll see you guys again. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for
Peace.
thanks for being here, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.